They lose more games than they win if they come out and play like that against, Premier League opposition. Well, hello again from here inside Craven Cottage, and yeah, I'm going to have to split this video into two from a Newcastle perspective. One talking about the result, another talking about the performance, because they were very different. One was good, one wasn't so good. We'll start in just a second with the result, but first of all, I've just left the press conference room there, and someone said to me, a colleague walked back in and said, Marco Silva stormed out of his press conference. He'd been in a row with a reporter. Who was that? I said, well, I think that was me. And I didn't see Marco Silva storm out, but he did finish his press conference on an exchange with myself, and that was over Newcastle's first goal. It certainly wasn't a row. Listen, I'm a reporter who's been involved in one or two rows in that scenario with managers, and that certainly wasn't one. But no, it was an exchange, and I'd asked him to clarify. He'd said that Bruno Guimaraes had handled the ball in the build-up to Newcastle's first goal, which I'd said, well, can you expand on that? Yes, we all agree it was a handball. Did you think it should have been disallowed? Because if you interpret the rules, the goal should have stood. And he said, well, what do you think? I said, well, it doesn't really matter what I think, Marco. I'm here to ask your press conference. You answer the question. He didn't. He just said it was a handball. It was a handball. So I'm none the wiser really as to whether it wasn't a row. And yes, while he walked out of his press conference quicker than Eddie Howe did 5 or 10 minutes later, and I asked actually more difficult questions of Eddie Howe than I ever did of Marco Silva. We'll get to them in just a second. I wouldn't call it a storm, but nonetheless, who are we to do down a story? If storm does make headlines, let's go along with it. But no, there was nothing storming about that performance, was that? I was going to say we'll start with the result, because the result was the positive. Why don't we get the negative out the way? And that was the performance. Eddie's just admitted to us, it was a bit like that really, the attempt to package to package that rubbish was Newcastle's first half performance. I thought both sides were pretty poor, to be honest with you. The real winners were the guys who boycotted this game, I thought, in the opening half an hour. £40 minimum price for tickets, going up to 60, 70, 80. So 5,000 fans stayed away. Now, like I say, during that first half hour, they really were the lucky ones, the unfortunate ones. I should never say this in the job we do. You sat here watching football, but no, it wasn't great. And Eddie admitted as much, to us just there. He said that, in cup competitions, it doesn't matter how you play. Ultimately, it is the result that matters. And my match report in the link in the description below, by the way, goes along with that theme. Ultimately, for a lot of reasons, Newcastle just had to make it through here, and by hook or by crook. After 15, 20 minutes, I honestly didn't think they would. And again, I say this to you guys before, you're working to sort of deadline. I had to file a 750, 800 word report, which isn't an insignificant amount of words, on about 75, 80 minutes tonight because of this strange 7 o'clock kickoff time. And after 15, 20 minutes, I was sat there with Martin Hardy from the Times, Simon Bird, and he said, there's not a good feel here for Newcastle. It felt, Newcastle just hadn't turned up. Again, we'll get these negatives out of the way. I don't think this is a negative reflection, because ultimately it's a positive night for Newcastle. But no, they were poor. There's no escaping that. Didn't start well at all. Bruno Guimaraes found black and white every time he passed the ball. The only problem was Newcastle were playing in green tonight. Sean Longstaff, Louis Miley alongside him hardly touched the ball. The guys up front, Jacob Murphy had that wonderful chance early on. He's put the ball the only place he shouldn't have put it, straight at the goalkeeper. Alexander Isak was isolated for the large part. He had good moments, but it was all, his own doing really. Lovely little 1-2 touches and just trying to make something out of nothing. Anthony Gordon on the left wing, I can't remember anything Gordon did all night. He didn't have a bad game. He just wasn't in the game. And ultimately they got the lucky break on 39 minutes when that idea of the football being a hand grenade spread from Newcastle to Fulham, and just the refusal to clear it in the box. It then bounces to Sean Longstaff again with, I think, it's probably one of his first touches of the game. Wonderful finish, lashes it bottom corner. Yes, it's bounced up off Bruno's hand, but come on, the rules, I think we all understand the rules on this by now. If it's an accidental handball, it actually only applies to the actual scorer in terms of being ruled out. So while there was the VAR delay, we'd seen the replay. I was sat just there. In fact, there you go. We'd seen the VAR replay, and we all said to each other straight away, no, this goal is going to stand. And from that point on, I wouldn't say the game wasn't in any doubt, but Newcastle got better as the game. In fairness to them, they did get better as the game went on. I thought the performance improved in the second half. They eventually get without being brilliant, by the way, they eventually get the second goal from the corner. Trippier brings it in. Botman, who I thought had a good game, he gets the header on goal. Dan Burn then lashes it in. From that point on, it is in no doubt. And me writing my report just here, there's only fell over there, it would have been a good video. Me writing my report, I'm fully committed then to a Newcastle win. And the crux of it is, the theme of it is all about how important this was in terms of keeping Newcastle's season alive. If they had gone out here tonight, wow, I've said on this video yesterday, didn't I, that of all the next 3 or 4 games, Newcastle have got the most important one for you guys, for Eddie, for the players, for the team, for the club, was this game here. And I never underestimate the importance of this in terms of, that phrase, and Eddie's just repeated us to us downstairs there, keeping the season alive, keeping legs in the season, maintaining a dream, just that light at the end of what could yet be a little bit of a dark tunnel for Newcastle in terms of the league form. I do think the league, to a degree, you look at it and is it going to get better to the point whereby they repeat what they did last season and reclaim that place in the top 4? No, I don't think it is. I think even top 6, looking at it, could be a little bit of a stretch. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day. And the isolation of this here tonight, they had to get through and into the last 16 in this competition for the second time in 18 years. That is quite remarkable. You forget how poor they've been in the FA Cup, and just to have that dream there, have something to aim for, and I do think now they're out of Europe, out of the Carabao Cup, why not have the FA Cup there to run parallel to a league campaign? It might just give them some enthusiasm, some energy, some hunger, a feel good to a season. That if they'd gone out here tonight, wow, the negativity that would have ran and just sort of descended on the players, on the manager, among you guys, among the fan base, in terms of the tone of what we were writing as reporters, it would have been a really difficult week for Eddie Howe. Then going down to Aston Villa, a game which in all likelihood, if you're going along with the bookmakers' odds, they perhaps potentially should lose on Tuesday. I'm not writing them off there, but it could have been a really sticky few days. What I will say on the performance is, they lose more games than they win if they come out and play like that against Premier League opposition. I didn't think it was a great display, as much as I said before, repeat myself, they would agree, it got better as they went on. But it wasn't. Fulham presented little really in terms of. I couldn't believe how poor Fulham were for a team who were trailing at home in a cup competition to show almost nothing really from the point of being 1-2-0 down. But nonetheless, Eddie used the words strength, resilience and character, and I would go along with that. It's a game almost you can draw a line under and take the positives from it in terms of being in the hat for the next round. And second half, I thought defensively, that back 4, he's picked the subtle back 4 again. I know 1 or 2 supporters had looked at the team selection and thought, what's Tino Livramento got to do to get in the side? I thought the back 4 were good, and fair play to them. Now, in the press conference afterwards, I said that I asked a difficult question of Eddie, and it was difficult in that he actually answered it. His first words were, "That's difficult." So, fairly intimate. I was in the very front row, and Miguel Almiron wasn't here tonight. We revealed that beforehand when we're out there looking at the players coming off the bus, and Almiron wasn't there, and straight away you get word back that it's illness. Eddie insists, the club insists, he genuinely is ill. That's not the reason he wasn't here tonight. Okay, we'll take him at face value on that, but I asked the question of Eddie, illness aside, could he still leave this month? We know there's the talks with Saudi clubs. We know he has one player the club are open to selling. Now Eddie said that's difficult. After a 2 or 3 second pause, he said he's not, I'm trying to remember the exact quote now, he said, he's not in hourly contact with what is going on, but yes, there is a possibility a player could leave this month. He said nothing has changed in that regard. Now, the information coupled with instinct and everything that has gone on here tonight is that I think there could be movement on the Almiron situation. Now, Eddie said there, would he shut the window now, tonight, if he could, with the same squad and bringing no one else in? He said, yes, that would probably be his preference. I think he wants to keep them together, but I think from an FFP perspective, there's too much that potentially makes sense about Almiron going in this window, not just for this window, but also for future windows going forward in terms of the summer. So now Jamal Lascelles, he was missing again tonight, calf injury. Eddie said that there's nothing there in terms of interest from another club. That was just genuinely a slightly slight calf strain. Kieran Trippier came off at the end. Now Eddie again said he's been nursing a little bit of a groin complaint, but he didn't think it was too serious. So now tonight's merit stars, there weren't loads of contenders. Come on, let's be honest with you. I can't say everything I've just done about the performance and then make out otherwise. But I thought the guys at the back, they had one or two little chances in the first half. Fulham did look the more dangerous of the two teams, but I thought that back four, that back five there really sort of come together as the game went on. And the 3 stars, and it just elevates them, the goal, I'm going to give to Dan Burn. You know, you got the television man the match there tonight. I'd already given him top marks in my Mail on Sunday match report, available in the description below. By the way, it was only a 7.5. You know, I can't really go much higher than that in the context of the performance. But yeah, I thought Dan Burn, you know, he had a bit of a difficult start. I thought Harry Wilson was good for them, for Fulham early on. But yeah, you know, he got his goal, grew into the game, was strong, was a presence. Dan Burn gets to 3 stars. 2 stars go to Sven Botman. He actually creates Dan Burn's goal, the goal which seals the tie by showing the desire to get on the end of Kieran Trippier's corner. He made a brilliant block just before that. There was one in the first half. He's deflected the shot wide. I thought Botman was good tonight. And the 1 star who he might even deserve more, because Martin Dubravka made a save in the first half. We're in the press box here, and we've seen the shot, and we said goal. We thought it was in. He's flipped it around the post. He then made one of the save a little bit later on as well at 1-0. So Dubravka, for 2 important saves at 2 big times, gets 1 star, and perhaps unlucky only to get the 1. So yeah, it was a good game for him tonight, and you know, given his record in the team since he come back into the team, I think that'll do him wonders in terms of confidence. And they're going to need to take that belief and that feel-good from tonight down to Villa on Tuesday, because I touched on that earlier, didn't I? You know, I think that really is a big challenge for them, and I'm still not convinced they're in a particularly good place performance-wise. You know, I'm not going to be sort of masked by the result there tonight, as good as the result was, as I started this video with. But yeah, anyway guys, it's a busy old week. I'll be on the training ground on Monday to speak to Eddie, a video after that. Again, you know, we'll have stories at the Mail, Daily Mail, Mail Online. Also as well, Tuesday night I'm down at Aston Villa. Now I'll be doing a special It's All Kicking Off transfer podcast at the Mail. I'll make sure I post the links in the community tab to that on Tuesday. We'll be doing a daily one every day this week, so lots of exciting content coming up on this channel and at the Daily Mail too. So you know, keep a look across all my social stations for that. In the meantime, please hit comment, like, subscribe. You know, that video yesterday, the bumper 27-minute one, the comments, you know, underneath that are excellent in terms of the debate. You know, really appreciate it. So go back and watch that video, guys. Like I said, there's a lot of content in there. So yeah, thanks again for watching. You know, I touched on that video yesterday, didn't I? How the aim, the hope tonight was that we'd just catch last orders. And I'm just looking at my watch now. So what we've got 10:30. So that gives me 20-25 minutes to get up here in London. So wish me luck, and yeah, I'll see you again on Monday. Okay, thanks again for watching, guys. Take care. Bye bye.